All right, let's review the that room construction that's on page 115. So I'm going to skip using the, you know what, I think I'm going to go, well, we'll use freehand and a little bit of straight edge here. Let's just mix it up a bit. The one in the book was done with a non-photo blue pencil first, roughing out the concept and then inking over the top. I'm going to use a ballpoint here. So the idea is that you first define a back wall. So if I want to draw a room, for instance, in 1-point perspective, defining that as my back wall. Okay, and then I'm going to set the scale by putting a person near that wall. So let's say I want that wall to be have like a 12-foot ceiling. So there's 6 feet. So I'm going to put a person here. Okay, and they're 6 feet tall. Now if I want to, now I want to put my vanishing point somewhere on that horizon line, and then draw through the corners of my back wall and bring them forward into space. Okay, now had I wanted to be in a different position, not standing in the room with this person, but actually sitting in the room, I would have just placed my horizon relative to their body. So if I was my seated height, my horizon would be here, and my vanishing point would be there, and I would just redraw the same 4 converging lines. In this case, I want to do it like the demo, or the example on page 115, and be standing in this space. So if I take this height of a person, right, and we know this from earlier in the book, transferring height in perspective, I can just draw a line through there, and let's move out here to the side. There would be the height of a person. We wanted the exact height of the head. Go like this, then across. There would be the same proportioned. And you want to get the width of the feet and all that. You could pull all that forward, then go over to the side. But I'm just going to guess at it. Okay, so there's the size of the head. So there's another person standing there, so maybe let's put the corner of a room here. Going down another hallway. And now let's draw up. And this is now an interior corner. That defines my ceiling. So here it heads off down the hallway, and then the ceiling continues. And then there's the baseboard. And we could continue that hall over here, right across to the other side, going that direction. Or we could put a doorway there, just leave the wall, for instance. We can do whatever we want. So that's basically how you do it. Now if we want to put, let's put a window in that far wall. And you'll see when I do my working drawings, just draw right through everything. We want to add the thickness of the wall. You just draw from each corner, just like we did with the back wall of the room, to my vanishing point, and then you add the thickness of the wall itself. And then once it hits the bottom, then we could add the thickness here as it comes across the bottom of the window, and we would add the thickness at the top, which we can barely see, and then this side is hidden because it's on the right-hand side of our vanishing point. What about a window here? What if we want it to be the same height? No big deal. Take the height over into the corner, draw with a guideline from your vanishing point across this wall, and draw with another one. Sorry, I'm trying not to spin the page here so it stays nice and aligned to the camera frame. And what if I went across this way? So you see I'm doing the exact same thing I did with the people in the space, and I could place a window. Well, let's place a skinny window right there. Maybe we add the wall thickness. Come across and then forward, go across, then forward. So here's the wall thickness. And we see just a little hint of the horizon way out there. And then over here, let's add a different proportion window. Like so. And let's say that's where it ends. So now I'm just making up stuff, just using my perspective grid. And how thick is the wall over here? These walls might be different thicknesses. I didn't project the thickness around to make sure it was the same everywhere, but you get the idea that that's what we see. We don't see the other side. So it's the same construction on all three walls. Just using my 1-point perspective, and maybe out over here we see some mountains out way on the horizon, a couple of buildings, maybe a shoreline of a lake or something. And that continues through. Maybe some mountains there continue through. We're looking way off in the distance there, some fields, that sort of thing. And if we want to turn and go the other way, right, we could go across here. Let's say that I did not want to cut this at a 90-degree angle and go this direction. Let's say I want to cut it at an angle. I'm just making an arbitrary angle here. So I'm drawing on the floor and cutting this wall. And you would just go straight up, hit here. Now you would run this guy out to the horizon line. If I could draw a straight line, somewhere right about there, it looks like, we would get another vanishing point. And that would be for this angle. So what you then do is go to the top of the wall where it hits your ceiling. All right, I'm going to spin this so I have a better chance at drawing it. And go through the top of the wall like that. So that's the angle up here at the top, and then you go up here straight like so, and then continue on where it hits the ceiling parallel to the horizon line. That's parallel to the horizon line like so. And let's say we wanted to put some diagonals on this floor. I'm just going to define that back wall a little bit darker. That's where my walls hit the ceiling. Okay, let's say I wanted to put a pattern on this floor, and I wanted those lines to be equal to, you know, this parallel to this cut that we just did. You just use the same vanishing point. So I could draw, let's see, I'm not going to space them properly, I'm just going to sketch them in there. Just want to show you how to use that same vanishing point to throw a few more guidelines through your space. So those lines, right, are parallel. This one, this one, this one, that one, just back there, okay, are parallel to this angled wall that we defined with this next vanishing point. And so you can see you can keep doing that. Anywhere you want to cut, just go ahead and cut it on the ground and then run it out until it hits your same horizon. Okay, and then you can go up. In this case, let's not take it all the way up. And now I want to come forward here and then straight across. And what I'm going to do now is that goes up to there, and then this hangs over. Keep our 90-degree corner here in top view. And let's put a little, what do I want to do there? Right now it's like a notch. It just goes up like this and then goes back down to there. We could put a little angle on it and fill that in with a couple little triangle guys. So we just took a little notch out of our wall, like so. So you can see that you just, now it's a lot of detailing, but your basic structure is there. You have two walls, right, running parallel to, right, our picture plane. And then we have an angle, right? If we wanted to add a little detail to that, you just still use any parallel lines you want to draw to each other. You still use the right VP that you made over here, like so. And if we wanted to put a little window through that, again, just a couple more guidelines, another guideline, in from the edge, in from the edge, little wall thickness, like so. Obviously, this is all one point through here, this wall, that hallway part, this wall, but these are starting to get into 2 point because I've rotated this right where I cut it. So this little line that I drew here is not parallel to the horizon, but actually is going to my left vanishing point, which is a different discussion in a different part of the book. So I'll let that be covered elsewhere. Anyway, I want to just show you how to block out a mostly 1 point perspective and use a couple of auxiliary vanishing points to, one, transfer around the height of the people, also the height of the windows, define your interior space. And now it would be fun to start detailing it and defining that and figuring out what is the function of this space. Right now it's just not much, just a few planes to define some walls, to define our construction. I'm going to add a little, just a few more guidelines here across the ceiling, so it gives us a little bit more a sense that there's something over our heads, like so. And then we could darken out this wall altogether. And that might help to hide that construction and show that there's a physical plane there. Like that. So pretty fun. Give it a try.